OK, let's get stuck into our first debate, and it is something that's having an impact on many of us, many of you, and many of children all across the country, all across the world, in fact. Yesterday, the Prime Minister announced that he won't look into reopening schools in England until at least March the 8th, which means another 5 weeks of homeschooling. And 3/4 of our viewers have said that they are worried about their kids' mental health during the pandemic. Now, that is a worrying statistic. There are signs to look out for. Some of those include differences in eating, differences in sleeping, finding it harder to concentrate, irritability and anger that may not have been there before. Have you experienced any of these?
Yeah, well, I mean, Grace is 17 and yesterday, I mean, it's been difficult for them anyway, but yesterday when they suddenly... I think she was harbouring hope that she'd go back to school after February half-term. And they kind of got that target in their heads. And then yesterday it was March, that pushed back to March 8th at the earliest. And I just noticed her mood just went off a cliff. And it's the same with her friends. And they've almost become so sort of resigned to just being locked in, if you like, that they're not even conversing. They've stopped doing Zoom calls, particularly with her mates. I mean, she's doing online learning, but it's just not the same. I've had to buy her these special glasses because she's just looking at a screen so much. And I was just looking here. You mentioned that poll there, which is, you know, shocking in itself. But these comments, you know, Decana, I've got a very active 6-year-old who regularly loses sleep and wakes up crying. He begs me every day to let him go to school or back to his clubs. Nick, I'm extremely worried about my 15-year-old daughter. She's becoming withdrawn, staying in her room all day and night, not keeping in touch with friends. I mean, all the comments are kind of that ilk, really.
I think all those points that you read out just then, Emma, I would tick all of those. I noticed the comfort eating, the not sleeping. And my kids have been homeschooled for 6 years, so this isn't about them wanting to go back to school. This is their primal need to be around other people. They are social animals. They are so sweet. They don't moan. They don't ask for anything that they're not allowed to do. And I, like you, Jane, I'm just seeing this quietness, this acceptance, which is kind of unsettling me and upsetting me even more. And, you know, my daughter says, Maddie, all her friends are staying up to like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and then they sleep until 4 because these are the ones that wait to go to uni. And you know, what can you say? Get up and do what?
Another day stretching ahead of you.
And Maddie said to me, Mum, I feel like I just want to sleep through all of this, and yet I can't sleep. And we all know when you don't sleep, everything seems insurmountable.
What about you, Emma? Because obviously your kids are a bit younger than ours.
Yeah, I think I underestimated the impact on my kids, to be honest. I thought, you know, they'll bounce back. They don't really, you know, yes, it will be different, but it won't be that much different. And it's only now that I can see them pining to go back to school. They want to be around other children. And my eldest, she's getting a bit more anxious, and her sleep is really being affected. Kaye, what about you?
Oh, well, all of the above, you know, and when we're talking about that, I really worry about the kids that don't have anyone to worry about them, you know, because there are many of those, and we need to really recognise that. I mean, we know that we have to stick with this, you know. I mean, we can't just suddenly throw out the doors. But, I mean, where I've got to with my kids is I really want to say to my kids, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of their resilience. I'm so proud of the way that they have, you know, we've had some not screaming matches, but, you know, we've had some hard times like all you've just, you know, described. But I think we have to recognise them and say, this is hard for you. And a lot of adults say, oh, well, remember the war, remember this, remember that. And, but this is right now, and this is their lives. And I think we really have to say to them, it's really hard, and you're doing an incredible thing by putting their lives on hold.
Yeah, we need to reassure them, don't we? And keep telling them, you know, it is happening, it will pass, stay strong, we're going to get there.
Maddie says, actually, that her and her friends always say the worst thing that adults can say is that, oh, it's nothing, and we had much worse, and it'd be better, because she said, everybody has experience, but we're having this now, and like you say, you've got to say it's really, really awful. It's horrendous. But it's not going to be like this all the time. Validate their feelings, basically.
Kids, we salute you.
We do.
All across the country.
We do.